All right, let's call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Welcome. Could I please get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are to number 4, and I'm just going to skip resident comments and questions unless any has been forwarded because there are no residents to present comments or questions. All right. Madeline, we're moving right on to you. Number 5.1, Carver County Water Management Organization. Madeline, could you please pronounce your last name for me? I could have done that. Have a seat. Speak into the microphone, please. And welcome.
Okay, that's cool.
You're taller than that.
I know.
It was just like an elevator.
This feels a little less professional now.
Don't worry, it comes up when you get off. It's kind of one of those lift chairs.
Like a slinky. All right, I can do this. Good evening. As Mike said, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I am Madeline Sutherland. I'm with the Carver County Water Management Organization, and I'm here tonight to invite you to a workshop on the water about sediment pollution, particularly in the Minnesota River, but also within some tributaries, mainly Carver Creek, which flows through your city. And as you guys know, the city of Carver has a long history with the Minnesota River, from its days when steamboats used to go up and down to your very own steamboat days that are coming up here in September. But if you've ever walked, biked, or paddled along it, you know that it has a sediment problem. Its brown and turbid waters are signs of erosion both within the river and the tributaries, and also from upland sources. So actually, I should have done this ahead of time, but...
Oh, sure, thanks.
Attaboy, Danielle.
What I passed out is an invite for the workshop on the water. And you'll be learning a number of things on this tour, obviously what sediment pollution is and what it means to your community. One of the other things that they'll be talking about are these things called high-risk erosion areas. And if you turn to the second page, what you will see is a map of the city of Carver, at least a part of the city of Carver. The orange and the red areas are areas of high-risk erosion areas. And so the tour will be covering those, what they are, what they mean to your city. And it's an important concept to understand as a local decision maker, both because of the impacts towards natural resources, but also for the impacts on development and citizen safety. So it's kind of another component that'll be gone over at the workshop. The last one, and a pretty big one that they'll cover at the workshop, is what local decision makers like yourselves can do. What are your tools that you can actually implement to protect your cities from sediment pollution and erosion? So I'd like to invite you there. I do want to make a note that it's not just an educational workshop, but an opportunity to partner. The Minnesota River obviously has many sources of sediment, from its headwaters all the way to its confluence with the Mississippi River in St. Paul. And so there'll be representatives from Dakota County, Scott County, Hennepin County, and all the cities within as well. So this is an opportunity to partnership, to network, and to look at sort of the broader picture. If you are interested in attending, I would recommend that you register sooner rather than later. We have a capacity of 46 people, and when last I checked, we were in the early 30s. So it's not a very big boat. So if you do want to come, I encourage you to sign up sooner rather than later. And the sign up and the contact are on the front page of the flyer.
Can we just tell you we want to go?
Yes, you can.
I'm in.
Okay. One down.
We're in the mid-30s now.
Yeah, probably like 33, 34. So, all right, I will sign you up then. And then anyone else, if you want to let me know, otherwise you can feel free to do it on your own time. I understand you have the open meeting, can only have so many people, so.
And that is from the CHS terminal, and it leaves at 3:30. Boards at 3, or is it boarding at 3:30?
What does the invite say? I think it boards at 3:30, and I think it leaves
departing
at 4.
from CHS River Terminal at 3:30.
That could be correct. you'll have to forgive me, we debated that for a long time on what we should actually do, but because of the sunlight going down
Sure.
towards the end of August, I think we did move it earlier.
I'll just say that I've made this trip before,
So have I.
and it's worth the effort. It's very enjoyable.
And I think this is something, and I think you and I have talked about this a little bit offline in terms of it's not something everybody sees on a daily basis, and it's not, when you don't see it and you don't touch it, it's not something that you understand. And to get out there and actually see and feel it and touch it really makes a difference, and it makes it real, and it allows for a solution. So I commend
Yes.
you, and I will be there.
And a lot of the same impacts are affecting your local stream, Carver Creek, which is a really natural, a precious natural resource that's got a lot of great diversity of fish populations in it. So a lot of the things that you'll learn will apply to protecting that water body as well.
I have a question about the map.
Yes.
With the areas with the red hash marks,
Yes.
you say those are high.
High risk erosion areas.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Basically, it means that they are more easy to erode, to slough, to bluff failure. Those are probably areas with steeper slopes and
Okay.
a certain soil type that with rainstorms and other types of corrosive forces would give way easier.
And then what are the yellow areas? Lower
The orange areas are
or orange? Okay.
potential high-risk erosion areas, and
Okay.
to be honest, I'm not really sure what the difference is.
Okay.
That would be something that I would have to ask my coworker.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is all I have.
How else can we help other than this right now? How else can we partner with you? And you and I have talked, I'm going to take this a step further. We talk about rain gardens. We talk about erosion. We talk about runoff. We talk about, and we have a surface water management plan that we talk about these things once a year, and it's typically just to get through it. I mean, let's face it, it's what do you call that? Wimster, the SWIP? Yeah, the MS4 is the one that I'm thinking about. And then there are things that we can do, like make my backyard a rain garden, and I'd be willing to pay for that, but I don't know how to do that. So is there a way that we can maybe find out a little bit, maybe you and Mr. Moline can come back before us in how to apply that towards, because actually Paul and I have talked about we're governed by the Minnehaha watershed.
You are in Lower Min River Watershed District,
Right.
and then you have a small chunk that is within our water management
Right, and
organization.
how do we get those together and manage? And it's obviously an issue here in Carver with floodwaters and everything else, and how do we manage that? And I think it'd be good to partner and at least bring that to the forefront if you guys are open to that.
We can definitely do that. This workshop is part of it's called NEMO. It's not the little clownfish. It stands for Non-Point Source Education for Municipal Officials. Basically, it's a nationwide program that talks to city councils and planning commissions and parks boards about what they can do to protect natural resources. And we have a chapter here in Minnesota that I am part of, and it's got a lot of tools. And so we could definitely come back with a NEMO-type program that basically lets you as local decision makers know what actions you can take that will protect your water resources, that will look at water management. It can come down to ordinances, policies, enforcement type things, and education would probably be the four main ones that we would look at. But
So let's start that process. If you could stay in contact with both myself and Mr. Merrick, it would be appreciated, because I like this stuff and I think that there's great value in it. And if I can be a part of making sure that it gets out there and that we understand how to process through it, it would be a good thing for me too. So
we actually brainstormed probably about a few months ago, so we actually have some of that work already done, and we'd be happy to start up the conversation.
didn't mean to put this off on a tangent, but I think it all kind of fits together.
All good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All right.
Madeline.
Let's move on. We do not have any public hearings. Could I please get a motion on the consent agenda?
Should we,
What did I miss?
Deputy Gowan, could we have him talk to us? Or is that?
Yeah. Can I get a motion on the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
There's a motion on the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's put Mr. Gowan at number 8 under unfinished business, because technically there is a little unfinished business. Would you like to please come up, Admiral, and give us just a quick update?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. As I'm sure you've all heard, Casey's Market was robbed last night by what we believe to be a lone suspect right now. The call came out shockingly early for a robbery. It came out at 8:16 p.m., which usually I think robberies happen right in the morning and right at the end of the day. This robbery took place at 8:16 p.m. Individual fled the scene on foot. We have no less than four investigators working it today, and they worked it all day long from earlier this morning. I believe they're still on it right now. I've been talking to them via the phone all day long. They have a multitude of investigative leads they're following up on. They've gotten several leads that have come in online and other leads they've generated themselves. I don't believe this is part of any kind of a much larger picture of a trend in town or anything. I believe this is a one-time deal, and I will keep you all updated as time goes on. Any questions?
Yes.
Please.
So could we make public, obviously there are things that we can't make public, but was there ever any danger? Was there ever a tough situation? Are you worried about the safety of anyone in the immediate area?
Not in the least.
Thank you.
The individual went to fairly great means to not be captured, to not be seen, and to get away from the scene cleanly. Again, I don't believe this is part of a larger evil situation brewing in town here. It's the result of one individual. People hear armed robbery. Was there ever a weapon pointed at anyone? And if you can't say, please don't. But a number of the comments that I've heard is that, what's happening to the community and so on. This is an isolated incident that was not necessarily violent. Would that be an accurate statement? That would be an accurate statement.
Thank you.
I can tell you I was the chief of police of Buffalo Lake for 10 years, and we had a robbery in Buffalo Lake. So there are robberies in Edina, Eden Prairie, Beverly Hills, and North Oaks. Being a small, very safe, low-crime city like Carver...
Not on the east side of Duluth.
...does not insulate us. Indeed.
Right.
Anything else?
Thank you, Admiral.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Craig.
Let's move on to new business, number 9.1. Ms. Nash, opt-out ordinance for temporary family health care dwellings. Where's the clicker? Where's the clicker? Clicker.
Thank you. We're bringing back to you tonight the opt-out ordinance that would allow you to opt out of following the provisions of the new law that was signed into the new bill that was signed into law this past spring that would allow for people to place mobile residential dwellings under 300 square feet in size on their property to serve as temporary health care dwellings. Unless this opt-out ordinance is adopted by the city, then you would need to start issuing permits for those types of structures starting September 1st. As we discussed previously, the city's zoning ordinances and ordinances related to RVs would not necessarily apply to these types of dwellings. And there's also a concern that the application's data requirements may result in the city possessing and maintaining non-public data governed by the Minnesota Data Practices Act. The city's options are to do nothing, of course, which is a choice to allow those temporary health care dwellings to start being put into place starting September 1st, adopt an ordinance opting out of the requirements, which is included in your packets, or the third option would be to adopt the ordinance opting out but direct staff and the Planning Commission to study the issue more. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Planning Commission said opt out.
Planning Commission recommended to opt out.
We opt out, we can always opt back in at some point,
Right,
or change it, or make our own plan.
exactly.
I'll make a motion to adopt the opt-out ordinance number 08-2016.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this particular issue?
I agree with opting out, but I guess I would like us to study it further, see whether it makes sense in the future and what controls we would put on it if we did allow it.
Okay.
Do you need a motion to do that, or do you think that we should just?
Is that just general direction?
That's a general direction. Option 3 would be the one I would support. But I don't think we need a motion, but I would think we want to look at this further and see if it makes sense.
I think we're going to do that anyway. Personally, I don't think we need a motion.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. We've had a little bit of discussion. Anybody have anything they'd like to add or question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Cindy. Ms. Nash. Mr. Hartman, Mr. Jake Hartman, our administrative intern, former $100 winner of a medallion find. Actually, current. Yeah, current. Let's talk about Carver Community Service Awards, Mr. Hartman.
Okay, thank you. So the Carver
You're
Community
welcome.
Service Awards are meant to recognize the time, support, service, and dedication that individuals and organizations give to make the city of Carver a great place to live. So we are proposing the creation of 3 separate awards in the categories youth, individuals, and business or organizations. And a little bit how this would work is residents can come into City Hall or go onto the city's website and fill out a nomination form and describe a little bit why they feel this individual or organization they're nominating is deserving of this award. Nominations are accepted year-round, and the deadline is November 1st. And so after that deadline, the mayor will sit down with city staff and review all of the nominations and go through and decide who they feel like deserves to be the winner of each of the 3 categories.
Just the mayor and city staff?
Yes.
Perfect.
I don't think
So
that's
all
perfect.
citizens, organizations, and businesses are eligible for the award. And community service can include volunteering time, effort, expertise, and other resources.
I think it's awesome. Do we need a motion to approve this? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
There's a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, just so that I'm understanding, there's a motion to approve the creation of a Carver Community Service Award in 3 awards presented each year for youth, individual, business, and organization. Are we going to do that? Sorry, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, there is some further discussion.
Are we going to do that starting this year, or would we do that in 2017? What's the idea? 2016 or 2017? This year? Awesome. Okay.
I'm just curious. My question is, why is it the mayor and staff that decides the winners?
Award winners?
I mean, we're all 5 of us are leaders in the community.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think kind of the origin of that is in order for to kind of keep the nomination process kind of internal. We didn't want to put the council in a position where they're discussing the merits of one nominee over the other in a public setting. And so the city council kind of did away with its committee structure a while ago. And so we chose the mayor, but if the council wants to choose a different process, we're happy to do whatever you wish.
At the very least, it has to be the mayor and one other council member, I think. Because can't you just see if you had like some big-headed mayor? Not that we do. I did not mean that about you, but we have had some big-headed mayors.
Wait, what are you talking about, Cindy?
That would be the only change that I would like to see made.
Okay.
And otherwise, I think it's a great idea, and I'm very pleased that you came up with it. You did come up with it, right?
Helped.
Okay.
Man, you take a lot of credit, dude.
Yeah.
You do a lot of great work, so I won't take that from you.
So are you proposing to amend
I am. I'm proposing to amend that motion to change sentence, nominations are accepted until November 1st of each year, with nominations reviewed by the mayor, 1 city council member, and staff.
There is an altered motion. Could I get an altered second?
Does Jim have to?
Jim was the,
I can accept that.
Can you?
I believe I can. I will accept
this is
Okay,
right
and-
along Robert's rule.
And then I will also still second.
Outstanding. So there's an altered motion, an altered second. Is there further discussion?
Yeah.
I have one thing, and so does Vicky.
And so does Larry Harris.
Yeah, you know, he's not here. Is something that procedurally that you want to add?
No.
Okay. So I would like to at least identify that city council member and say that tonight.
Why?
Because it's the only way that it can be fair. We won't have time to,
Oh,
I
I see.
think we should just,
Well,
across the board,
I don't think we have to do it tonight.
I think we should.
Okay, whatever.
So there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? We can nominate somebody after this. It doesn't have to be a part of the motion.
Or it could be something where you appoint a certain council member. We don't have a process right now to create a committee for it, and so it'd be something that we'd have to annually take to you. So if it'd be something where you wanted to designate the most senior council member or the newest council member, etc., that might be helpful.
Jim? You want to?
Well, not the oldest.
Oh, I was asking if he wanted to
Oh.
change his motion some
Well,
more.
why don't we've killed this motion in terms of what it's going to look like. Let's vote on this motion,
Yes.
and then let's add another motion that solidifies the process for nomination and judging. Is that okay? Is everybody okay with that? All right, there's a motion and a second. Vicki, do you understand where we're at with the motion? Okay. Will you repeat it back? Just so that we have it right, I thank you.
Well, your first motion was authorizing the creation of the Carver Community Service Awards. The motion was by Councilmember Wygan, second by Councilmember Newhouse. Then it was amended to add the addition of one more council member in addition to the mayor and staff. Then also that motion was made by Councilmember Wygan and second by Councilmember Newhouse.
Perfect.
And that's what you're voting on right now.
Perfect. Thank you. I just want to make sure we were very clear on that. So any other discussion concerning what we've already discussed? So there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, if we could add on to that discussion on how we'd like to manage the city council member being a part of that.
I think that the longest serving council member should be on it.
So it may be that same
Consecutively
person.
or
No, just cumulative.
cumulative?
Cumulative. You know what cumulative means.
Cumulative.
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 I'm an entrepreneur.
You're manure.
Cumulative.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Of course, I disagree with that.
Nice. Get after it. Let's fight.
Why would you
See what
have
you
like the
started, Jay?
newest council member?
What?
See what you started?
Because I think that would be like, okay, you have to do this. I think it's an honor, and I think it's a great thing.
I would rather see it be shared, differing from year to year, just because I think that it is an
Or
honor.
why wouldn't we have the newest council member and the one who served the longest and forget the mayor altogether?
Yeah.
That'd be okay.
What?
The motion didn't mandate that.
Actually, whatever you guys want to do. I don't really care which council member it is. I just wanted it to not just be the mayor and staff. I think
fair.
that,
So this is the first year we're going to do it? Why don't we select councilman with council person with the longest years of service for this year, and then next year it can be worked into the assignments for the year.
Yeah. As council members.
you guys
come on.
figure out which one of us
I
that
would make
is.
a motion that we appoint Councilmember Monroe to the nomination committee for the Carver Community Service Awards.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
So, but that's like the person with the most years, right?
We just nominated you, not for any other reason than we nominated you.
Oh, okay.
We're not going with the lungs at the T.
Okay, so from year to year, this will change.
What I think Mr. Wygan suggested. Well, this is really going downhill. I think what Jim suggested was when we go through and every January after an election, when we appoint committees or
there you go.
liaisons, that this can be a part of that list.
I think that's a good idea, too.
Like weed inspector. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on having Cindy be the liaison or the community service award nominator? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome. Holy cripes.
Thank you. I feel honored.
Yeah, thanks, Jake.
Thank
Good
you,
work.
Jake.
What a troublemaker.
You know, you could have saved us all this trouble if you'd just written me in to begin with.
Yep. You knew she was going to do it. No. So we are now to Council Communications, Ms. Monroe.
I can't remember if our planning commission meeting was mostly discussing the opt-out agreement.
Correct, and the renderings for the school.
Oh,
building,
yes, the
which are-
renderings for the school, which were in our packet.
Yep.
Other than that, that's all I know.
Mr. Wygand.
HPC, we had the
Oh, I was there.
wonderful guest of Cindy Monroe discussing gutters on her old house and whether we should approve half round or normal that match the house.
Yeah.
There was one other one we did too.
Bless you.
Anything you'd like to tell us?
What?
What was the other one? Oh, the sign on 208, yes.
Is he starting to forget things?
Yes. Another interesting point that came up was on attendance of members of these committees. Apparently, there are some members that don't show up on a regular basis. And there was one of the members of the HPC suggested taking some kind of action.
Well, there's a rule. There's a
Miss
rule.
3 meetings
Miss
in a row?
3 and you're done.
Well, you can be done.
Yeah, the option is there for you to be removed from
And
that.
I think the committee makes that decision, and they make the recommendation to the
we should
city
maybe
council.
look that up, but
Well, the other problem that Cindy brought up was that right now we have vacancies on the
Then don't,
alternates.
that can't be a factor in your. This is an ongoing issue.
yeah, it
We
is.
should probably look into it, maybe discuss it at a later, future meeting.
Okay.
How to ramp up attendance at commission meetings?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else?
The other thing was I attended 2 meetings last week for Metro Cities, one on transportation and government services and one on housing and economic development. The drop houses came up at as I said before, came up at the second meeting, and essentially every city said they were going to do the same thing we're doing, opt out. And it wasn't that they were necessarily opposed to the drop houses.
Not a well-written.
It was not a well-written law, which seems par for the course this year. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Hank?
The Parks Commission, we met, and the Eagle Scout project this year, we talked about. There's going to be a new bench up on our dike over here, the levee.
Is he making it?
Yes.
Nice.
And we made the recommendation for the Ironwood Park.
Ironwood Park.
Commission did, or you?
Yes.
Okay.
Parks
said we-
Commission, well,
They recommended.
okay, they recommended it, and we were there. And then we spoke, had a long chat about the The Park Dead study. That turned into a long conversation. Oh, we'll be getting into that soon. That's it.
I have nothing.
Mr. Merrick.
So, one thing from the Planning Commission, Bridget Kelly won the second annual Edith Ann Award, recognizing property maintenance excellence. And
Who did?
Bridget Kelly, 201 3rd Street West. And so
Yes.
we'll be inviting Miss Kelly to the September City Council meeting. We'll have City Council go out to her property and do a picture, and then bring her back in for the regular meeting for a award presentation. So congratulations, and
Yes,
thank you to
congratulations.
Bridget for her work.
And that was voted upon by the Planning Commission.
Correct.
Cool. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Could I please get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oops. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all.